In the haunting silence of the Hollow Creek woods, three friends Summer, Mark, and Jen found themselves sprinting through the dense thickets, their breaths shallow and frantic, shadows trailing them with every step. Branches whipped against their faces, the darkness around them seeming to murmur with a sinister intent, a cacophony of whispers, as if the forest itself was alive and not welcoming. Emma had always been curious about her family's past. Her grandfather's secrets, buried deep among these ancient trees, were too intriguing to resist. "Yeah, we shouldn't have come here. Not without knowing what really happened to him," she confessed, glancing fearfully at her companions. They had disregarded the fearful gossip from the townsfolk about the woods, their strange lights flickering near an old cabin, the missing persons. But with curiosity came danger, and they had stepped too close to the edge. As panic surged, their feet finally stumbled upon an abandoned farmhouse, the structure looming like a ghost from a forgotten era. Rushing inside, they barricaded the door just in time, heartbeats loud as they leaned against the battered wood, desperately regulating the frantic breaths. And outside, something scratched at the door, its weight shifting ominously upon the wooden planks. "What was that?" Jen hissed, eyes wide darting around the dim interior. Shadows danced along the walls, elongating into grotesque shapes. In a forgotten corner, Mark found a dusty old journal hidden beneath a broken floorboard. As he flipped through the brittle pages, their pale glow illuminated eerie drawings of grotesque figures, occult symbols, and disturbing accounts of ancient rituals meant to protect the inhabitants from unknown horrors. One passage detailed the protectors, malevolent beings trapped by ritualistic magic. "This can't be real," Mark murmured, wincing as he pressed the cloth to the shallow gash on his arm. "It's just a story, right?" Emma's face paled further. A backstory shrouded in darkness started to weave its way into the present, and their momentary respite shattered when a sharp knock echoed from the front door. Dale, a stranger with an unsettling calm, stepped in, eyes flickering like a candle's flame. "I can help you," he insisted, his voice soothing yet chilling. But something felt amiss in his knowing gaze as he reached out, a glimmer of menace lurking beneath his intentions. "Why are you here?" Jen's voice quaked, suspicion thick in the air as his presence filled the cramped room. They learned he had been living nearby and knew about the forests. Curses words danced around the horrors that plagued the area. Unnerved, the friends exchanged glances, each reflecting their growing mistrust of Dale. And the scratching sounds outside morphed into growls. Dread pooled in their stomachs, and paranoia melted into panic. It became clear that the entity desired more than just entry. The argument that erupted amongst them was fueled by desperation. Mark accusing Dale of knowing the creature, of being a part of it. "You brought us here, didn't you?" he shouted as the intensity grew, voices clashing like thunder. Amidst the storm of their fears, all around the house creaked walls groaned under pressure. And then, with a deafening crash, the creature broke in, relentless and monstrous, in their fight against the darkness. The emotions frayed as they barricaded themselves in a basement. It was a tight space, littered with discarded relics of past rituals, a petrified atmosphere thickened with centuries of despair. The growls above grew closer, shadows encircling their hearts. "This is insane," Jen shouted in despair, clutching her head, battling her own pressure inside, her sanity fraying. "Why can't we just trust each other?" The suggestion of betrayal lingered, poisoning the air, but with every increase in threat came a closer bond formed by sheer survival instinct. As the darkness surged, Dale transformed into something monstrous, revealing his true self, Cultus, unleashed in their midst. It became apparent that he had been summoning the entity through a series of blood rituals, trying to control the anger from beyond. It was the very act of trying to conquer the shadow that led to their impending doom. The final confrontation unfolded in chaotic fury, cries mixed with malevolent roars as Emma recalled the spells from the journal. With trembling hands, she began to recite the words inscribed on its aged pages, binding the creature in a temporary hold. Power surged, light shone, offering a flicker of hope. But as the creature writhed against the incantation, she understood the fragility of their victory. Its power was not fully exorcised, it lingered, lurking, waiting in the darkness. With dawn peeking through the battered windows, they stumbled out of the farmhouse. They were alive, but the scars of the night haunted their souls. Dale was nowhere to be found, although remnants of his presence smeared the atmosphere, an echo of betrayal and darkness, dense just out of reach. As they locked eyes with the looming forest, dread clung to them as they fled Hollow Creek, shadows whispering beneath the trees, telling of unseen dangers, lying in wait, hinting that their brushes with horror would never quite end. An unearthed object from the BAFTA-tarnished charm, stained with old blood, remained behind, and the forest seemed to pulse around it, a wordless promise that the cycle might begin anew. As they journeyed away, the whispers of the hollow beckoned, drawing them with the thread of sinister allure, proving that escape was only a facade. While they thought they had survived, part of them remained forever, trapped within the shadows of the hollow.